Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am going to be telling you about my positive induction that I had at 39 weeks. I am super excited to share this story with you guys. As y'all have seen from my previous videos, or if you are new here, I was pregnant and I was doing the updates, and then I was also trying natural ways to go into labor before having to be induced, but obviously she did not want to come out, so we had to get the induction, and I am here to tell you my experience. So originally my induction was scheduled right at 39 weeks, so that was October 13th. I had to go in at 5 in the morning, and honestly, when you're scheduled for an induction, don't expect to get any sleep because you're just like so excited and nervous, and it's crazy because like reality hits you the day that you're going in. Well, I would assume it would hit you when you go in like for labor, but when you're going in for your induction, you're like, okay, this is really happening, and all these feelings and everything, all these emotions just come and they hit you. But aside from that, don't expect to get any sleep. At least I didn't. So I went in at 5 in the morning, and they checked me in. When I went in, they didn't have any rooms that were completely booked, so they had put me in triage for monitoring. So originally they said before they start you on the Pitocin, they have to monitor you for an hour, just to make sure that the baby's okay, my blood pressure, everything is fine with me as well. So they monitored me. I ended up being monitored till 7, only because there was not a room available. So once a room became available, they moved me to the labor and delivery room, and that was at 7 is when they moved me. So at 7:30, they started the Pitocin. Now mind you, I didn't have any side effects. So when they started the Pitocin at 7:30, I was already 4 centimeters dilated previously. That I stayed at 4 centimeters since I was 37 weeks. So I stayed at 4. So the Pitocin, they started at 7:30. I was still at 4. And then the doctor checked me, because I wrote everything down so I make sure not to leave anything out. So at 8:45 in the morning, the doctor checked me, and I was 6 to 7 centimeters dilated already. And mind you, I had no pain at all. I had maybe like slight back pain. It's more like a back pain as you've been just picking up, and then when you're pregnant and all that weight, you just get very little like back pain. It was just that, nothing intense, nothing serious, nothing. I thought I was still out of 4 because I wasn't having any type of feeling. So when she said that, she said, my doctor had came in and she said at 10, I'm going to break your water if it doesn't break already before. So I was like, okay, hopefully it breaks on its own. But by 10 o'clock, my water hasn't broke. So she broke my water, and I kid you not, at least by like 10:30, I was having full contractions, like 2 to 3 minutes. The worst thing ever, like it was just the worst. I felt like my bones were crushing inside. By the second contraction, because by then she said I was about a 7-8. So by the second contraction, it was so painful. I was like, if I don't get the epidural now, I am not going to be able to get it because everything was progressing super fast. So by the time the epidural came in, which was about 15 minutes later, so at 10:45, they came in, they gave me the epidural. So like I said, it was around 8 centimeters. And then during the epidural process, so as soon as they put the spinal needle in and they did a test run, my blood pressure had dropped. I believe it was like a 120/60. Well, it was like somewhere around there. My blood pressure was good. And then it dropped to an 88/50, I believe. It dropped just drastically within seconds. So I told the nurse, like as soon as he did the test run, I was like, I don't feel good. They saw it on the monitor. And then he was like, okay, he had told the other nurse to go get a blood pressure medication. I forgot the name that he said, but it was basically a medication to raise my blood pressure. But he was like, no, let's give her a couple of seconds. Let's lay her down, or lay me down and see how I feel. So within 2 minutes, my blood pressure went back to normal. So which was really weird. I don't know why I had that reaction. But they ended up giving me the epidural, and within like instantly almost. The pain went away except for my right pelvic area. I was still getting intense pain, but everything else I couldn't feel, which was super, super weird. And on my left side of my body, I was way more numb. On my right side, like, okay, so for example, like my left leg, I couldn't lift at all. I couldn't move it, nothing. Like, I just had no feeling. But on my right leg, on the other hand, I was able to move it a little bit. But it's just like the pain, I wasn't really feeling the pain on that side, except for my right pelvic area, which was really weird. So after the epidural from 11, so that was at 10:45. By the time, I would say it was like around 11. So from 11 to 12, I went from 8 to 10. So really, really fast. And you know how, so when the doctors came in, she checked me because I told her, I was like, I'm feeling a lot of pressure. I think I need to go pee. And she was like, she's like, I don't think you need to go pee. Let me check you first. So I was like, okay, which is really weird because normally they say it's the opposite. You feel like you need to poop. But I was like, I just felt like I needed to pee. So she checked me and she was like, oh no. She was like, let me go get you a doctor. She was like, because you're ready. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Again, I wasn't having any contractions. So the only time I really had contractions was for like 30 minutes. And that was really it. I really had no other pain besides like the pelvic pain that I was getting, but it wasn't as intense. So my doctor comes in and we're pushing. Now from my first, I remember with my first, we pushed for a little bit and then they're like, okay, so baby's there, now we're pushing. But when I was in labor, when I was pushing, I was like, okay, are we pushing to get like for the baby's head to come, or are we pushing to have her out? Which I don't know why I asked, but the doctor was like, no. She's like, we're pushing. So I was like, oh, okay. So then we're pushing. The way, I believe they said she was posterior, so where her head was facing up. And then they were saying usually with the babies that are like that, you need to have a C-section because it's so hard to get the baby out, or usually moms push for hours and hours and they're unable to get the baby out, so they need to do an emergency C-section. But within 30 minutes, she was born right at 12:30. She was 6 pounds exactly. And I just remember saying like, oh my God, she's so small, like she's so tiny. And it was just crazy, like within that moment, because everything happened so fast. Like I felt like I was pushing maybe for like 5 minutes and like that's it. And the crazy thing about it was like, at first with everything going on right now and wearing the face mask, I thought I was gonna like hyperventilate or freak out or not be able to breathe or anything like that. But that's honestly the last thing on your mind. I don't know, like I didn't even think like that I needed to take the mask off to breathe or anything like that. It was just great. So for my whole labor, or the whole time that I was in labor, was a total of 5 hours exactly, because the Pitocin started at 7:30 and then I ended up having her exactly at 12:30. So 5 hours later. Again, I really didn't have a bad experience at all. I was really nervous going in because I heard so many like negative things about inductions, and then with the medication, the Pitocin and things like that. But honestly, it was perfect. I would do it again if I had to, obviously. I would totally do it again. Now, if you're scheduled for an induction and you're watching all these videos on YouTube, basically just trying to get a hunch of what's going to happen or what the experience is going to be, let me tell you this. Everyone's experience is completely different, which I'm sure you know. So don't try to compare someone who has a really, really bad experience and think that you're going to have the same experience. Because that's what I was doing, and that's why I was so nervous. It gave me a lot of anxiety going in because I thought it was going to be extremely painful or something where I was going to be in labor for 24 hours because I was doing Pitocin, and that was totally not the case. So again, everybody's different. Just go in there with an open mind. Again, everyone's body reacts different ways to it. So glad I was able to share this story with you guys. I originally wanted to vlog, but when everything's going on, the last thing on your mind is vlogging, to be honest. So I obviously didn't vlog, but I did want to share my birthing stories for you guys, or the other moms that are out here just wondering how induction is and what other moms' experiences are. But thank you guys so much for watching my video and supporting my journey. Again, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.